Hi, and welcome to the DPT training series. Today I'm going to be reviewing how to do practice activity searches. The DPT is also known as the data presentation tool and is part of the Canadian Primary Care Sentinel Surveillance Network. So when we look at the DPT, it's been developed to allow for quick and user-friendly data queries without the need to have any knowledge of SQL or how databases work in general. And then depending on the type of search that you're doing, the DPT is either going to provide you a visualization of the data, or it's going to give you an option to export the data to be used with another visualization software. For this video, I'm going to show both examples, both of a visualization and an example of an export to be used in an external software. I'm going to be providing an overview on a few things. First, I'm going to be providing an overview of how to get a count of total encounters or visits by patients within a specified time period. And then from that visit count to get a age gender distribution of those patients, those unique patients, so you can see what the breakup is of those patients. So let's start first from getting a total visit count. To get to a total visit count from the main DPT page, you want to actually use the raw data viewer. The raw data viewer is going to allow you to do different types of searches depending on the type of data that you're looking at. The general DPT search is based on a per patient unique patient count, whereas the raw data viewer is going to allow you to do an allergy visit, allergy record count, billing, etc., etc. Today, since we're looking at visits, we're going to use the encounter portion of the raw data viewer. When you get to the encounter table data, it's going to show you a total number of records that are in the database. This is a unique number of visits. So for this particular demo database, there are 255,000 visits in this database. And there's details on each of these visits. From this view, you're able to scan through individually on each of the visits. But for the purpose of this exercise, we want to look at the number of visits within a certain time period. So to do that, what you need to do is you want to enter into the search mode. To enter the search mode, you would click on the Search Data button. Now it's going to open up the search screen. The way to tell that you're in the search screen is all of the fields will now appear blank, and it'll just appear blank and you'll have a flashing cursor. For the purpose right now, we're going to look at a time range, so in time range of the encounters. So I look at the encounter date. You can also use date created. This is something you have to determine on how your data is formatted. You'd be working with your local SIFSN data manager to figure that out. So dates are formatted in the year, month, day format, just like this. Okay, so if I'm going to do a search, I need to start with the year. I know that this particular data set goes to December 30th of 2014, so I'm going to start at January 1st of 2014. So I would go like this. Now to do a date range within the DPT, you would put 3 dots, and then you would put your second date. So I'm going to go right up to December 31st. Okay, click out of there. Now at this point, this will give me a search that's going to show me any encounters within that date range. I would also have the ability, if I want to add more, I could say just show me those from a certain provider or from a certain site, or just show me those that have one of the conditions or a certain age range. We could do any of those things. But we're going to start with just a broad data search. Once I put my criteria in, I would click on the Execute Search button. After clicking on the Execute Search button, I'm going to get a window that says, will you be performing a not search? It's just going to ask, do I want to actually look for those that have that date range or those that are outside of that date range? I'm looking for those that have, so I'm going to find a find search. Then it's going to ask me, this is where you can build Boolean searches. Is this a brand new search, or am I existing to an existing? Am I adding to an existing, or am I constraining this existing? It's a brand new search, so go new. Okay, so it returns right back. It gives me, now I have about 35,000 encounters in that time span. I can scan through just to quickly check. It looks good so far. Okay, great. Now from this point, I have a few options to do. Depends on what I'm trying to do with the data. So if I'm just looking for a raw data count, I know right away in the year 2014, we had 35,000 visits. If I want to start looking at different things, if I want to say, well, how many did a certain provider have, or how many were male, or how many are female, there's a few different ways we can do that. First thing you can do is you can take advantage of the export function. So if I click on export, export function is going to allow you to export the data to be used in an external visualization or external statistical software, something if you use Stata or any of those things. So we're going to start, we're just going to create a export here. We're going to call it patient encounters in 2014. We're going to export it as Excel. What you want to typically do is, it does give you options for other ones. However, if you want column headers, currently you will need to export it as Excel. The other exports currently do not export column headers. Okay, click on automatically open file, press save, name your worksheet. We're going to call these encounters, or we'll call it visits just to mix things up, and then click on continue. Okay, now you'll get this screen that says specify field order for export. On the right side are the fields that'll be exported. Now, what I would recommend is actually just clear all of these. On the left side, these are the same fields that you're seeing in the layout behind the scenes. So you have date created, encounter date, and just pick the ones that you'd like to have as part of your export. For us, we want to know the patient ID. We want to know their age. We want their gender. Where is it? Sex. You can put it in whatever order you'd like. And we'll take the encounter date. Why not? Oh, and of course, we want a provider ID. To know who the patient and the provider are, that's something you'd have to work with your data manager from CPCSSN to do for re-identification. However, this report will give you those some general stratification that you need to do, the data that you need for general stratification. Okay, that's good for now, so I'll just pick those ones, and I'm going to click on export. Okay, so what's happening now, it's just in the process of generating that export into Excel for us. Okay, and now what we have is we have a export in Excel that we can do whatever we need to do, whether you want to import it into another piece of visualization software, or you want to actually just start doing your work right within Excel, you can do that as well. You can, it's just depends on however you want to manage it. Okay, and there's the first thing you can do. Okay, so I'm going to exit that. Okay, so that's the first thing you can do. The other thing we can do now is you can actually constrain this search further, where you can say, okay, well, that's great. I just want to quickly get some numbers, and I'll say, now let's break it down by male, female. So from here, I can say, okay, I'm going to search the data. I know there were 35,000-ish records. Now I just want to find out those, how many of those were male that came in. Okay, so I just click on male. I press execute search, finding again, but this time, when it comes to this screen, I'm going to say and, because I want to find anything that was in that time range and were a male. So I click on and. Okay. And I see that 12,000 of those 34,000 were male. And you can do different things from there. So as you can see, you can start building your search. If you think this is a search that you're going to be running more often, you could actually save it. So if you click on this icon up at the top, it's going to tell you what your search criteria are. So far I've searched the criteria that date, counter date of 2004, January 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2014, and the sex of male. So I'm going to save this. So this is 2014 visits by males. I'm going to save it. Okay. So it's there now for me to use in the future. I'll show you how that can be used here. To access your saved searches, you would go to the home screen and then go to data reports. You'll see a list of saved searches. Now, right at the top, you can see it's right there as encounter, and it shows the number result. You'd also be able to kind of filter to say, just show me my encounter searches or whatever, however you'd like to do that. But we'll start with that. Okay, I want to rerun this thing. I can just click on that. It's going to take me back, and there you go again. So now you have your search. So you can start really building your searches for your practice level searches. You could do the same thing to find your female patients or age groups. So let's say now I want to find my males that are in the, let's do 18 to 40 range. Okay, so let's search again. To do a range, you do ... and it's inclusive. So it's going to get everyone 18 up to age 40. Execute search, find. I'm going to do another and there we go. So about 2,000 of the 12,000 were in that 18 to 40 range. So you can start building it from there. Okay, so now what I want to do is, And same thing, for any search you can do an export, you can do different things, you can add to the search, you can work through it. But what I want to do now is I want to have a visualization. So I've got these 18 to 40 males that have had a visit in the year 2000. Let's take a look at that age gender distribution. Well, it's males, so we'll just age distribution for now. You click on this patient summary button. This is giving you a breakdown of the unique patients in there. So of those visits, so there's 1,900 visits, you have to remember, not actual patients, and they came from 860 unique patients. And then here's the age distribution. Because I did all males, that's what we're getting. So let's change the search a bit so we can make this a little bit more pretty. So we'll go back to home, raw data viewer. This is where I should have saved my search earlier, so I don't have to do it again, but it's quick. We'll go counter date 214.01, 214-12-31. I'm going to execute that search, find new. I'm going to save it so just in case. So 2014 visits, save. Okay. Now for those 35,000 encounters, let's do a visualization of that. So of the 35,000 visits, that was comprised of about 10,000 patients, and there's the age gender distribution. From this screen, you can also get an idea of what type of patients they are. So we have, well, first of all, here's a validation. It shows of these patients, they've been, it's all of the patients, 100% have been in the last 12 months, which is our search criteria. It gives a condition prevalence. So of our patients, 12% has diabetes, 25 hypertension, etc. 14% have two conditions, 3, etc. 5% going from there. So you get a little breakdown of those patients, unique patients that came in the last year. And you can do different things from the DPT, as you'll see from other videos. But what that shows us now is that gives you a general picture of practice activity searches, some of the things that you can do. Please, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us or place comments on this video. Look forward to future videos as well for more information.